All right, so now we move into our movie reviews. We've got on the list for today Jumanji, Greatest Showman, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. We're going to start with Jumanji. Who has not seen Jumanji? Perfect.
Losers.
Okay, so Hunter and Bubba.
So
I'll let you guys take the reins.
let me tell you about this thing called Jumanji without any spoilers. Jumanji, they do tie it in with the old one, 100%. It's the same entity, so that's pretty dope.
Which people were concerned that it wouldn't.
No, and it does, and it ties it in a sensible, cool way. 4 high school students nowadays all get in trouble for different reasons. It kind of feels like a Breakfast Club type thing. 4 different types of high school students. They end up cleaning out the basement as a detention, and then it ends up they played a video game that one of them found called Jumanji. They get sucked into the video game, and in a similar way to the other one, their lives get turned upside down. There's a cool element. It really feels like a video game. Every character gets 3 lives.
So this one, they're in the game.
They're in the game.
Which I thought was interesting. It's more Tron than original Jumanji.
But it's hilarious because they did a very impressive job. Obviously, I don't know the girl in it, but Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Rock.
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan.
Yeah, she was in
She plays in.
Yeah. Well, either way, they all do a great job of taking on the personality of their teenage counterparts. It's really funny. I think the star of this show is Jack Black. Yeah, it's absolutely Jack Black playing a teenage girl is absolutely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I think that is worth the price of admission. Hunter, do you have any other thoughts on Jumanji?
No, you want me to spoil it?
No, not for. Well, it's been out for.
It's been a while.
I have a question about it. If you guys could answer it.
Yeah, I can answer it.
Is there a reference to what is Robin Williams' character? Is there a reference to him being in the world?
Yes.
Cool.
Nice.
Yes, it's very well done too.
It's referenced in the game.
Nick Jonas is in
That's
it
what I
too.
meant. The game world.
And he actually plays a pretty decent sized part.
Is
once.
he good?
Yeah, he's actually
good.
good.
They have a TV show. They have the Jonas Brothers TV show.
Yeah, but he's actually good. It's not like Disney good. He's just
like
funny.
good, like movie good.
Movie quality.
Nobody in this is
comedy movie.
Yes,
good.
comedy good, movie good.
I think Jack Black's one of the most underrated and underappreciated.
Well, and he hasn't
comedians.
done anything in forever.
That's true.
And he was just so funny in this. And I think The Rock also playing like a nerd. It felt very similar to Central Intelligence. If you guys saw that one,
you know me. I'm not the biggest comedy watcher.
And then Kevin Hart plays. He's the only one. He plays Kevin Hart, but
Kevin Hart plays Kevin Hart and everything.
Kevin Hart's funny,
right?
So it was okay. I think you go see it, and if you can't see it yet, then you wait for it to come out on digital, and you get it as soon as possible.
I've wanted to see it. It's just I saw
so
Star
many good
Wars
movies came out. Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was really good. Thumbs up. Go see it.
Hunter, thumbs up. Go see it. 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean that's the highest score you can get.
I know you can't get more than 2 thumbs, unless you were born with a deficiency.
So you guys also saw Alex and Bubba saw The Greatest Showman, another movie I would have liked to see. Just Star Wars was in theaters, so I saw that too many times.
What did you think of The Greatest Showman?
I was very torn on it because a couple of the things I saw it 2 days ago, so it's very fresh in my mind. Soundtrack was phenomenal. The whole scenery seemed so fake and not well done, but I feel like that was intentional, and I liked it. There's really only a couple of things that bothered me about the movie. The ending. Every musical and inspirational story like this usually goes from rags to riches to rags again, back on their way up. And it has the same formula, but I thought that last second where it all comes down and then comes back up was too quick. I didn't really feel anything. Just when I was feeling down for the guy, I was already happy for him again. Didn't really get the full
There almost
effect.
never really was a down, except on like a personal level. And then there was a thing that just got resolved immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And then my only other issue with the film was Zendaya and Zac Efron's relationship. Okay. It just kind of seemed like, hey, you're pretty, I'm pretty. They didn't say a word, and then Zac Efron was trying to hold her hand, and I thought that was kind of like shallow almost. That their whole relationship was just built
a
off
handful
them
of it,
being
yeah.
beautiful people.
It was a
That's
little.
most famous people in real life.
It was a little like we have Zendaya, we have Zac Efron. Well, they have to be in a relationship, but we don't know how.
But
That's
she
what
didn't
it felt like.
talk. That was the whole thing, which is
Was
fine.
the character a mute?
No.
Oh,
She
she
just
talked sometimes. She sang.
Yeah.
Oh
she
my
said-
god!
So-
She just didn't talk to.
All the other stuff was just like typical musical, like things moving too quickly within a song. That's all. I'm willing to give concessions to a musical because I can enjoy it. But
I knew exactly what the movie was when I saw the trailer, which is why I didn't rush out to see the movie.
Wait, so
I was more interested in the soundtrack, which I could just get on iTunes
Phenomenal.
and click the preview little button. It gives you 30 seconds of song.
I loved it.
I actually have my own different thoughts about the movie. I actually thought the story was fine. I thought that yes, the whole
predictability of it.
It was very predictable and nothing.
Well,
it didn't shock me at all. But what I didn't really expect to be surprised by anything. I actually was not a huge fan of the soundtrack, and it's not because I thought the music was bad. It didn't seem to fit the time or the story at all.
The time
It felt very modern and predictable. It felt like songs you'd hear on the radio today.
Full disclosure, when you clean half the soundtrack, when the credits are rolling and I'm cleaning the theater for my job, you kind of get Stockholm syndrome. So that could be what it is, because eventually it comes to a point where Frozen's been in theaters for 2 months, and I enjoy I enjoy singing. Do you want to build a snowman?
To your point, I've heard most people contrarian to Alex. I actually was in class yesterday before the professor showed up, and this girl in front of me was talking about the movie. Kind of sucked, but the soundtrack's so good, and that's what I've heard most people say is the soundtrack's the great part.
See, the point is, his point is valid, actually. That it does sound really modern. And that's just not something that bothers me.
Right.
Well, I mean, maybe the thing is, it's a musical written to be in theaters in 2017.
And almost maybe more so than the music being a little too modern was that I felt like every song was the same. There was not enough variety in the music.
There was maybe 1-2 slower kind of sad songs,
and that was my favorite song. The one that the one lady sang. I actually really liked.
And there was still one that kind of got lifted up. That one actress. We didn't really talk about her. What was the
Rebecca
singer?
Ferguson, right?
I don't know.
She's a redheaded lady.
Yes.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
She was pretty good.
Yeah, she was in Life.
She was good. Yeah. The scene where she's singing and crying because she's heartbroken really got to me.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
And that's a whole thing. We can pick apart this movie for so many reasons, but it did make me feel for the characters.
Right. It definitely was not a bad movie. No. It did everything it set out to do. It's just some things succeeded in more ways than other things.
And so for me, I'd say I wouldn't rush to theaters, but get the soundtrack on iTunes, and then when it comes out on Netflix or DVD or whatever, it's worth a watch.
It seems like I've watched some people on YouTube that do similar things to us, and they're saying they were saying they had the soundtrack before they even saw the movie. So I think it's more like you listen to the soundtrack and you get to go see the music.
I didn't listen to the soundtrack, so
I didn't. I mean, I kind of did because the credits or whatever, but yeah. No, and it was seeing cool. It is cool like doing that. Because you hear the songs and you learn to like them, and then those songs are given context, and it makes them more important.
Another thing is, I'm not a huge fan of musicals. I've seen like 5, and the really good ones I actually really like. This does not seem like a musical that they tried to be some timeless thing. It felt like more of a movie than a musical. It felt like a movie with a bunch of songs in it, with a really good soundtrack rather than a musical.
Yeah. My only other comment, because I feel like we kind of take it for granted, and that's how and that's why we haven't touched on it yet, is Hugh Jackman was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
But he always is, which is why we haven't touched on it.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Oscar buzz for him getting nominated for this movie. Which movie should he more likely get nominated for, this or Logan?
Definitely Logan.
Definitely better in Logan, because he didn't have to do much. Yeah. Although...
singing and dancing's a lot, but it's not acting.
No. And he was good at acting in this, and he made me feel, but too easy of a role compared to what he had to pull off in Logan for me. I think that one was far more impressive.
Yeah, my opinions on the Oscars, which we could get into a lot. It's more of like a club, like they're never going to give a movie an Oscar nomination or an Oscar nomination to a superhero movie, but the adage is the more challenging the role, the more likely they are to get a nomination. That Logan role is a challenging role. So.
I actually have one more thing to say about
The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman, which is weird. I didn't think we'd be talking about this for that long.
Yeah, I know.
But this is kind of a flaw. The characters who are like the freaks, basically, the ones that are part of the circus, they didn't have much more characterization than that. That they were weird.
I agree.
And
the bearded lady kind of did.
She kind of did, but the bearded lady was no different than everyone else.
No, I agree.
So I think it would have been awesome to see a little bit more individuality. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, it's just superficial. Yes. I would like to see more actual emotional differences between the characters.
I'm assuming the point is don't judge people for being freaks. Then the only characterization you give them is that they're freaks. Right.
Yeah, and it's true. And I agree with that, but I kind of like the direction they went, where it's Phineas's Hugh Jackman, mm-hmm. it's his story, and it's Zac Efron's story, and a little bit Zendaya's, and that's the important part, and I think it did its job.
Yeah.
So like I said, go see it.
Alex, do you have any recommendation?
If you really like musicals and you've heard the songs and like it, you'd really like the movie.
Okay. So now we move on to the big one, The White Whale.
Pitch Perfect 3, really, it's better than 2, not as good as 1. They shouldn't have made 2 and 3. Go on to your big one.
I didn't mean that white whale.
Oh, good bad aiming. That's a good one.
I meant Star Wars The Last Jedi. I couldn't think of the character's name, so I would have called it out.
Yeah.
Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's... I'm not joining, but that sums it up pretty much, yeah.
Is there anything that we can say... I think all four of us have we're the most loving of this of anyone I've seen online.
It's hard to come by someone who likes this movie on the internet.
Because the internet's a breeding ground for bitches. Like, everyone goes there to complain and talk shit.
I have heard legitimate complaints. But the legitimate complaints aren't the complaints that you hear most of the time. You hear Luke Skywalker's character was ruined. You hear there was way too much comedy, which I disagree with. You hear
there's
all this
stuff. Every time I see a movie, and
Rose is the worst character ever.
Every time I see a movie and someone disagrees with me, I try to be like, I understand your point.
Yes.
I just don't understand that.
I don't either. Because I was working bar at the movie theater the other night and got into an argument with some lady about Star Wars.
Just some random lady?
Because she was complaining that it felt too much like a Marvel movie. I'm like, oh yeah, I hate it when it feels too much like the most successful movie franchise of the last decade. That sucks. Like, I don't get it, man.
People try to make money. Do you guys want to go through the movie? And give our
feel like we should almost go through everybody's complaints.
Okay.
And just
I don't know.
Let's do that. Let's
Hunter was about to
Where
say.
are you guys finding these bitches about the
all over the place?
On Twitter? How are you finding them on your Twitter feed?
YouTube.
All I'm seeing is people bitching about sexual harassment claims.
Okay.
That's true. I mean, Ryan Johnson's like, oh, thank God. No one sees the complaints. Which, by the way, Ryan Johnson's sitting at home giggling like a schoolboy that people hate this movie.
Did you see he apologized? He apologized.
Did he really?
Yeah, he said something like, it was almost like they forced an apology out of him. It was more like, and I don't remember exactly what he said. I'm paraphrasing completely. He basically said, I'm sorry, more of like a I don't know what you expect from me. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounded like. To me, it was like
one of the most mature directing moves and writing moves I've ever seen, to just completely diarrhea on everyone's fan theory.
Yeah, which was what I loved so much about it, is everything you thought going into it was completely
turned upside down the drain. People, it seems like, are being brats because they didn't get what their particular fan theory. They don't want it. I feel like that going through people's complaints will be better because we're doing this a month after it came out. We are not the first thing people are watching.
No.
So let's just address why we disagree with people.
I'm kind of. Are you trying to examine my pen? I'm trying. Okay, here. What? Go on. I'm writing down the. Who are the knights of? This is the big questions. These are the big questions people had after The Force Awakens. Who is Snoke?
Still have that question.
Well, who are raised? Well, yeah. We'll go through it and then I'll go through it again. Who's Snoke? Who are Rey's parents? Why did Kylo Ren turn bad? Will Kylo Ren turn good? Who are the Knights of Ren? 4 of these were answered in this movie. Or answered at least in some way. Snoke. Who is Snoke? Doesn't matter. He's dead. Who are Rey's parents? Doesn't
Nobody.
matter. They're nobody. They're dead.
That is so beautiful.
Which I've been like, I've said this. Me and Alex have discussed this.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, there's no camera record of me. I'd be Nostradamus. I've said Rey's parents are probably just assholes that sold her to Unkar Plutt for money. Which is when he said that, I'm just like, Ryan Johnson, I feel you, brother, because that's just genius.
Yeah.
Hunter, why'd you steal my pen?
That's pretty cool.
Thank you. I got it for free. Why did Kylo Ren turn bad?
We learned that.
Yeah. Snoke was kind of seducing him, and Kylo Ren or Luke Skywalker's like, fuck,
Made a huge
I'm
mistake.
gonna kill this kid. And then, oh no, I shouldn't have almost killed this kid. Which, people hate that scene. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Will Kylo Ren turn good?
No.
We got that answered.
Emphatic
I don't think
no.
so.
Yeah.
Emphatic no.
Yeah.
And I will be disappointed if J.J. Abrams decides to have him do a turn.
No, I think there's
Well,
room.
Luke did tell Leia no one's ever truly gone, but I think Ben is.
I think in the context of The Last Jedi, I think Bubba's right. He's gone.
Yeah.
In the context of real life, I think the death of Leia, the death of Carrie, they just, I don't know what they're going to do. That's a whole different topic. Let's say Leia's died in between movies.
Okay.
That can be something that, just like she dies of old age or sickness, that can be something that could bring him back.
Could be, but
which would be a great way to use that organically. We'll see. And then the only one we didn't get the answer to, who are the Knights of Ren, but we did kind of get the answer. Luke, they were the.
No, we got the answer. Who? We didn't get to see them.
They
and
were
I'm sure we will, because
that's going to be the big.
That's one thing we've already seen Rey and Kylo fight in the forest in The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some higher stakes in the finale, and it's got to be the Knights of Ren, and it's going to be amazing.
Yep.
So let's discuss all these things that have been answered and the complaints people have.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing to talk about is Luke. I think that's one.
Well, let's save that for the end because that's like the big.
Okay.
That's the white whale inside of the.
I have a lot of thoughts about Luke.
Who's leaving him at the end?
Well, I'm like J.J. Abrams. I'm leaving Luke to the end. So Snoke. People say, why isn't Snoke Plagueis? Why isn't Snoke Darth Maul? Why isn't Snoke Mace Windu? Why did you ruin Snoke? Snoke was the big bad guy. What in The Force Awakens made you think that Snoke was the big bad guy? I'll tell you what. The Return of the Jedi made you think Snoke was the big bad guy because the Emperor was the big bad guy.
Let's take
this movie takes your expectations and says fuck your expectations.
Let's look at The Empire Strikes Back, which was the Emperor's first appearance. Mm-hmm. He played about as much part in that movie as Snoke did in The Force Awakens. He's just a big hologram.
And in 1980, no one.
Most of the time, I forget that Palpatine's in that movie. I forget he's there, and when you saw him in the first movie, I almost feel like it was deliberately set up, and it might have been, to make him in The Force Awakens seem like he's even bigger and more powerful than the Emperor, which he very well may be. But
I think
we just saw his downfall a lot. We saw his downfall a lot sooner than we thought.
And I think doing that, I don't know the last time such a bold move has been made in a giant movie franchise.
That was the biggest gasp I've ever seen.
Then slicing Snoke in half 2/3 of the way in the second movie of a trilogy.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's awesome.
Because he's not the big bad guy.
And
Kylo Ren's
why
the
do
big
we
bad
not...
guy.
And here's my problem. People say that Snoke is a loser villain. First of all, he established his power because he force-linked people's minds. He was throwing Rey around like a rag doll.
Throwing Kylo Ren around earlier in the movie. Lightning him in the face with barely any...
He was a badass. And the fact that they are innovators enough. Why do people not want Star Wars to be innovative? To have their big bad get sliced in half.
They did last year in 2015 when Force Awakens is just a new hope. They said, why can't we have new things? And these same people come back 2 years later. Why is this different?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's all we have on Snoke.
And Snoke, he was weak. No, he wasn't weak. He had
a fatal flaw. He was arrogant.
That's the whole theme of this movie. Is everyone has a fatal flaw.
Has a fatal
every character.
Yoda, and this is the thing that I think is one of the greatest things about the movie. Yoda tells you outright what this movie is trying to tell you. Yeah. Failure is the greatest teacher. Every single person fails in this movie.
The people that don't learn from their failures, Snoke,
yep,
Kylo Ren,
yep.
What happens to them? Cut in half, and then my girlfriend's gone.
Yep.
I'm never gonna date Rey.
Yep.
So then Rey's parents. This is the big one. people are still not convinced. Even though people are like, Kylo Ren lied to her. Kylo Ren didn't tell her who her parents are. Kylo Ren said, "You know who your parents are. Say it. Admit it to yourself."
And she knew.
She says they're nobody,
Right.
and then he says they were drunk. They sold you for.
And a complaint people have is, how does Kylo Ren know? First of all, they're basically the Empire. They have free reign of whatever information they get. And also the
when
Force.
I touched your hand, I saw who your parents were.
Yeah.
Because she knew.
Exactly.
When he touched her, she knew what she knew.
Probably when he was digging around in her mind in The Force Awakens, he might have seen it too.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is toying with her, but he's toying her with the truth.
Yeah.
He had a compelling argument to get her on his side.
He did
Oh,
at the
for
end.
sure.
I was hoping she would.
Yep.
But
Luke versus Rey and Kylo Ren.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
That didn't cross my... Well, that crossed my mind once, except I thought maybe Luke would turn dark, but...
I never did. I thought before, the first time I saw it, because I've seen it 4 times. The first time that I saw it, when they're done killing the guards, and they're kind of like, before he's not good. You think he's good. I'm thinking, they're going to, like, embrace, and then Luke's going to walk in and be like, what the fuck is this? And then they're going to fight. All 3 of them. It didn't happen, but I like what they did better because I like to write things, but Rian Johnson, the balls on him. They must have had to wheel him into the Walt Disney offices because I wouldn't be able to walk with testicles that big. But people complaining about Rey's parents.
I don't get it, man.
Like
what do you want?
That's the biggest shocker too, because every single Star Wars character has been, who could Rey's parents be?
People are legitimately saying, how does she have the Force if her parents aren't someone with the Force?
How did fucking
did
Anakin have
Obi-Wan
the Force?
have the Force? Did Ahsoka have the Force? If you watch the TV shows, did any of these people's parents were they Jedi? No.
That's the whole thing. Is people, and I think the best message of the "I'm nobody" line from Rey is. The best part about Star Wars has always been anybody can be special, and you don't need to be a Skywalker to have powers. And I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, this isn't like Dragon Ball. They're not a race of superpowered Jedi. They're just people that have the ability to manipulate the Force. Yeah. So, if you don't think that this is if you think this is stupid,
I hope you're wrong. I hope they don't come back and make your parents someone else.
But if you don't understand that you don't have then maybe you haven't paid close enough attention to the Star Wars series. Why Kylo Ren went bad? This is the big one. We'll save this for when we get to Luke.
When we talk to Luke, because it's all connected.
Will Kylo Ren be good? I don't think people are complaining about this too much.
No, I was very happy because I did not want him to have some redemption arc. It started looking like he was going to have one, and I was convinced.
The thing is, people when The Force Awakens came out said there's no way, but I'm like, there is a way. I just hope that he's bad because he's more interesting as a villain.
And they did it the best way possible. They started a compelling redemption story with her and Rey kind of almost turning each other.
Yeah,
which was very interesting. But what they did was the best possible thing they could do. They led you to believe this is what was going to happen, and then turned it on your head again when he said, "No, you're still holding on," and they were polarized again.
Holding on.
That's the one.
Which, by the way, in my book, he gets a Best Actor nomination.
That's
we'll talk about that.
One of the better differences between the Luke and Vader and Rey and Kylo. First of all, they're more peers than father and son, and one is the baddest dude in the universe. But another is that you never once in Return of the Jedi thought that Luke was gonna turn bad.
But you thought
there were genuine thoughts of, okay, these two are probably gonna end up together, which they didn't. Awesome. And which side are they gonna be on? And I think that's one of the coolest elements that The Last Jedi made you think. It didn't give you a breather, which is incredible for a 2.5-hour movie.
A 2.5-hour blockbuster movie that has more intellectual thought than most movies this year. Lastly, we get to Who Are the Knights of Ren. No one's complained about this. We're gonna see the Knights of Ren.
Who cares?
So now we get into the big one. Luke Skywalker.
Can I lead us into this? And I kind of have I want to sum up the arguments and give my rebuttal to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it seems like the main complaints about Luke's character is 2 different sections. Okay? Luke's character, where he's at the beginning, and what happens at the end. Surprisingly, people have complaints about both of these things. With the beginning of the movie and where he's at and his past, people say, here's the summary of the main complaints.
complaints.
If he could redeem Darth Vader, why couldn't he redeem Ben? Why didn't he even try? First of all, he didn't get a chance to. And okay. When he is one of the most powerful Jedi out there, the most powerful Jedi out there, and he sees his most promising pupil, he has raw
Not only
strength.
his most promising pupil, but his nephew.
Yes.
His twin sister.
Who has the blood of Darth Vader in him.
Right.
Just like he does. And he sees that his heart has already been turned.
And has visions of the future where he kills everyone he loves.
He made a human decision. That's a thing that I've always stood by.
Humans.
He is not Jesus. He's not perfect. Jedi aren't always perfect. We can see that perfectly well in the prequels and the original trilogy. He made a decision and he instantly regretted it. That's key. And
it's not just that you see him instantly regret it. He says to the audience,
yeah,
I felt shame instantly.
Yes. And when Ben saw it, yes, it was a human mistake, and he dealt with it the best way he could, which was to hide himself away and let it all happen, let it die out. And so that's a complaint. First of all, did you want Rey to show up and him be like, "Oh, I'm tired. I feel bad. He turned against me, and I feel defeated." And then Rey says, "No, you can help. You have to. There's still good in him." And he goes, "Okay, I agree." And then they go redeem Kylo Ren.
Let's go, my daughter. Let's go redeem Kylo Ren.
They never directly mention it, but like you said, these are humans.
Mm-hmm.
We watched an entire trilogy of Luke going through hell, basically.
Yeah.
You don't think he's gonna have post-traumatic stress disorder, and the moment he sees somebody that's just as threatening as his father, whom he basically had to kill. That he would have a moment of, I need to get rid of this problem. Like, he's like 45, 50, and he's seen a galaxy of issues, and he sees... Wouldn't you want to just... If you lived through everything Luke lived through in the original trilogy, would your first thought not to be, oh my god, I'm so tired of fighting all this war, I can eliminate this problem right now. For just a second?
You saw a baby clone of Hitler that you knew was going to grow up to be Hitler.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think, I should probably squish this baby's brains?
Yeah.
At least for a second, and then you think, well, maybe I can raise this baby to be a good Hitler. A very well-behaved Hitler, perhaps.
Yeah, no. That whole story arc makes perfect sense. And I think one of you mentioned people paint out Luke to be this perfect Jesus character. Yeah. Luke has never been...
Just because he whines and bitches throughout the entire trilogy.
He's a mass murderer. He's one of the biggest mass murderers in the galaxy. You think he didn't for a second think that he might kill this kid?
He's never been afraid of... And let's not forget as well, he tried to kill Darth Vader before he turned him. Yeah. That.
Yeah, twice.
Twice he tried to kill Darth Vader.
Even once he knew it was his dad, he's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna cut your hand off.
That's so much more interesting that he's a human with actual flaws and mistakes than he's just perfect.
Well, not only that, people are like, well, why did he turn his back on the Jedi Order? He never once said that. He's in his Jedi robes for a reason. He's still a Jedi. He's just, I'm not going to train any more people because every time I do it, every time someone tries to train more Jedi, it gets fucked up.
Yes.
I'm still a Jedi, but I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Because the Jedi need to end. He says this.
Which, I think that's a topic that needs to be discussed. The Jedi ending would not be a bad thing in the Star Wars universe.
No, I mean, look at everything that he says. The legacy of the Jedi is failure.
If they wanted to end everything at Episode 9, which they won't, but I'm saying if they wanted to end the main continuation of Star Wars at Episode 9, having the Jedi end, and just having Kylo Ren dead,
like you can
and
be
the Knights of Ren
user,
dead,
but we don't need a religious
would be fantastic for a great ending. I think it would make all the whiny internet babies so mad, but who cares about it?
Like I said, if I was Ryan Johnson, I'd be joyful that I made these internet babies mad.
Okay, the other complaint about Luke, and this I've heard even more about, surprisingly. People say that the final scene, the lightsaber duel on Crate, ruins the movie.
Because he's not there.
Because Luke's too much of a pussy to even show up. It completely ruins his character. What the heck? This is such a stupid scene.
He couldn't have showed up. He didn't have a spaceship.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
He literally couldn't leave.
And people say...
It's been there for 10 years.
People who say, how dare he try and kill Kylo Ren, then say 20 years later, why didn't he kill Kylo Ren? It's like the most perfect summary of the internet that I've ever heard.
But that to me, and I know Alex agrees, and I'm sure I know you guys all agree with me. Even the internet trolls agree with me. That's infinitely more interesting than just having Obi-Wan go sacrifice himself for Darth Vader.
It would have been the same exact thing because there was no way Luke was going to survive that anyway. If he actually showed up.
Yeah, without actually training for the past. He's like 60 years old.
And the whole point, Luke's entire arc is accepting that he's failed and learning from it.
Yep.
And living up to the fact that he's a legend.
Yep.
And at the end, he does both those. He faces his failure and becomes cements himself as a legend, but like earns that right.
Yep.
And has the most badass shit talk I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah.
That was...
People complain about that too. I don't get it.
That's
come here to
Luke
save my
is
soul.
cocky.
No.
Luke is brutal. I mean, people like take his character from the original trilogy into this happy-go-lucky kid.
He's a shit talker.
Yes,
he's a sassy
He
bitch.
always has been.
He either
You'll find I'm full of surprises.
dude he either complains or he's like, what do you think? A princess and a guy like me? No. Or when Leia kisses him and he goes,
Yeah.
No,
that's all he
He's
does.
like he's a person. He has a character. He's not.
He's like,
That's the Force.
that's the Force. Yes,
I love that.
scene. Oh my! When he's got the leaf, he's tickling on her arm.
All right.
So I mean, yeah, you can go.
Can we move past Luke for a second?
Yeah.
Or is everyone done with Luke?
Let's talk about other complaints.
Rose. I was gonna move into
Yeah,
Rose.
everyone's done with Louis dead.
Okay.
We're all well. He's gonna be back.
Oh,
Luke's gonna be back in episode 9.
probably.
He's gonna be They have to, even if they weren't going to. You've got to have Luke
So
in
was
and out
the
of
ghost
Carrie
of
Fisher.
Admiral Akbar.
Goodbye, Admiral.
Oh! Have you not heard? This is one of the biggest complaints too.
He was a
How come Admiral Akbar didn't have a better death? One of my favorite characters.
Bubba, do you know who Admiral Akbar is?
Yes, I know who Admiral Akbar
I was hoping
is.
you'd say no.
No, but
Who the
he
hell
isn't
cares?
he isn't really a major character. He just became a cult
He became
cult
a
hero
meme.
because
The fact that they
because he
mentioned
said
him-
it's a trap.
They should have been
I-
had even mentioned him dying.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
who
they let him do his
cares?
part. They let him say it's a rap at the end
love
of the movie.
Star
We're
Wars.
gonna-
I'm sure. I think I probably have an Admiral Akbar action figure somewhere. Do I
Do
give
we?
a?
We don't.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Do I give a fuck about Admiral Akbar? No.
Admiral Akbar cereal.
Admiral Akbar still exists. He's in Return of the Jedi.
If you're complaining-
so I can watch Return of the Jedi.
If you're
and there's Admiral
complaining
Akbar.
about Admiral Akbar's death, then you're literally trying to find things
Yeah.
to complain
Yeah,
about with this
absolutely.
movie. Okay, so Rose,
Back to
and,
Rose.
and then the only other complaint I think we should discuss is the Leia flying scene.
Okay.
You can go with Rose.
maybe the
for
Yoda. Maybe we'll
Alright,
talk.
Maybe Yoda.
Let's not
You-
even bring up racism when it comes to Rose.
Because honestly, what? Okay, yeah, we're just gonna talk about Rose as a character. People say she is the worst character in Star Wars.
Yeah.
She ruined Star Wars. Could you imagine how Kelly Marie Tran feels when you see like Star Wars post like a happy birthday Kelly Marie Tran and all it is just bashing her and bashing her character?
Well, let's not even care about the actress.
I just feel
would
bad.
people think she's? Why are you drawing a dick?
What? It's a
No, that's
smi-
no, it's Max Rebo.
Oh.
That's a spaceship.
It's a smiley face.
Why?
It's Squidward.
Why? Let me ask you guys, because I know my opinions on Rose. Do you think Rose is a terrible, terrible character that ruined Star Wars?
No.
No, I just
The
thought
whole
her
thing,
sister
I
was
kind of
pretty
just
hot.
thought,
That's
okay,
fair.
Thank you.
this story arc is here. I like it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fun character stuff.
It's
not-
fun. It made, while it still kept you on the edge of your seat, it wasn't as high stakes as the rest
No, it's
of
the,
the
that's
story.
the fun stuff that
And
keeps you engaged.
I didn't think anything negative about Rose. I just thought,
Rose.
she's okay.
I will say one
It's
thing.
like it's like freaking C-3PO. You don't hate C-3PO. Yeah, okay, C-3PO. Oh, Chewbacca's here.
She's a much better
Lando's
character
here.
than C-3PO.
Lando's cool. I like Lando. I like
She
Rose.
She has a personality and she's likable.
Yeah.
And another thing, okay, one thing I will say,
Mhm.
there's sometimes where I think about that like kiss scene where she kisses Finn, and I think her line before that is a little cheesy and not great, but
I kind of think it's
it can
supposed
kind of go either way for me. It can go
Well, that's
either
her
way.
personality, in
Yeah,
my
she's-
opinion. She's a
she's-
cheesy person.
Yeah.
She looks at the universe like Star Wars, like
She-
fans look
well-
at the universe. Finn, you're a hero. Everything's cheesy.
and I
Everything's
think-
hopeful. And then she kisses him, and he's just like, oh.
I think maybe
he clearly does not think about her that
I
way.
think maybe the point of that whole scene and maybe her whole arc, like her whole story throughout the movie, is that everyone's so caught up in war.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's been going on is people killing each other.
Yeah.
Like, for 66 years that the Star Wars movies have taken place over. And she looks at everything through, like, kind of innocent eyes.
She's there to turn Finn from being I'm looking out for myself, like
Right.
he was in Force Awakens in the beginning of this movie, to
he was very hate-filled.
Yeah, not hate. He's just kind of like
he really.
it was more fear.
It was all
He
him.
wants to look out for him and Rey because
yeah.
he wants to plow.
And Poe, but that's another story.
No, that's for your fanfic.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Rose is fine. While we're on this, I do kind of have a mini complaint.
Okay.
I feel like Finn going into his I understand why they had Poe write off his mistake by saying turn around everybody. Nowhere in the movie did I really feel like Finn was a person to just start charging into this laser. Like, he never really seemed
Because
unwarranted.
everything that happened was his fault. I mean, it was him and Poe's fault.
Yeah,
It could have been either one of them, but who was going to save Poe? They didn't want to kill off Finn.
No, I think that if they both turn around, it's fine. If you just...
You're talking about when he's about to charge into the...
Yes.
Okay.
It finishes his arc of, I fucked everything up and I've been selfish, so I'm going to give myself and give them the chance to escape.
And I understand that.
But it would have been useless, and that's what Rose is
I just thought it was just adding more tension to the fire and solidifying, and then making it so Rose could have her... I felt that scene was more for Rose than for Finn.
I agree.
I think for Finn, it doesn't make any sense. Because if you look at what Rose was saying, she said maybe it's time we stop trying to kill the things we hate and save the things we love. That's how we're going to win.
Think it could have been reversed.
It doesn't make any sense for Finn, because Finn, what was he doing? Trying to save the people he loved by sacrificing himself.
It should have been backwards.
On his ride up there, and it more did seem like he was like...
It almost seemed like...
He hates the Empire for what they did to him and how they treated him and stuff.
Do you think it would have been better
the First Order
if Rose was the one going to suicide bomb? Because her sister suicide bombed earlier in the movie.
If they would have made more reference to her depression about her sister's passing.
Yeah, but they didn't.
She's betraying the character she's had. Like, she's betraying herself.
Then that would have been...
Finn comes in last minute because he's convinced...
Here's my thoughts.
The
way the rest of the movie goes right now, that wouldn't have been better. It would have been better if she was constantly fighting this battle with not being absolutely depressed about her sister's death, but which would have taken away the fun Casino Planet part of the movie.
But at the end of the day,
it would have made it more sense.
The suicide bomb, the failed, non-existent suicide bomb attempt, has no impact except for it just makes characters we like have things to do, which is fine. Another thing people don't like is Admiral Holdo. I'm just going to say I don't get it.
Yeah.
I like her, and I thought it was the second time when I know what's going on, when I watched it, I really liked her. And the first time I didn't like her for half the movie because you're not supposed to when you're on the emotional ride going on your first time. But once you actually get to know her character, it sucks because she's only there for half a movie, but she was an admiral. Well, literally, but
she was
admirable.
Admirable.
Yeah, she was an admirable character.
People say it's a plot hole that she wouldn't tell Poe her plan.
Oh,
no.
dude,
even though 20 minutes earlier he
killed
killed half of the crew or half their army. She's like, I'm not telling this guy.
And she's just a captain.
Yeah,
because she was like, if this guy disagrees with me, he's probably just gonna go rogue anyway.
Yeah.
So
also,
I'm just like. I plead the fifth.
Also, they knew that they tracked him through hyperspace, but really, who was it that knew how they're doing it? Rose and Finn.
Yeah.
And they didn't say anything. They were keeping everything a secret. As far as Holdo maybe knew, there could be a rat on the ship that could be...
spy.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's reason enough not to tell them anything.
Yeah.
The complaints people had about Rey being Mary Sue in the first one, moot in this. Like, I can understand. Why people think she's like nothing bad ever happens to her in Force Awakens, but she gets her ass kicked multiple times. Her fight against Luke,
she's overconfident
people say
herself.
She kicks Luke's ass. Are you fucking stupid?
She was getting.
She cheats.
Yeah.
He beats the shit out of her, and she pulls a lightsaber out, and he's like, "Well, shit."
Yeah.
She cheats. Luke kicks her ass. Yep. It's like Lee Mubai versus Jen Yu.
Yeah.
No one gets that reference.
It's from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
I
Well,
Thank you, Alex. No, it's great.
Oh, I said yay.
Oh, I thought you said gay.
yeah, the only other thing I think we should address
That's
is
too harsh for
quit being whiny about the Leia Peter Pan scene.
People
Because
forget Leia has the Force.
She
She's a
has the
Skywalker.
Force, and just because she went like this, I think if she kind of just like
Drifted.
peacefully drifted, even with her arms like just slaying, I think it looks better. I agree.
I agree.
But I think people complaining about this is ridiculous. Oh, how could she just float like that? And she doesn't ever use the Force in
How
any
could
other
she
way.
breathe in space?
Yeah.
How is there fire in space and sound in space?
Yeah, how do the
Shit
bombs
burns.
drop?
Yeah, it's Star Wars. Come on.
Yeah.
How is there a giant space? How is there a Yoda? How is there a Chewbacca?
Exactly. Like, I feel like it's an unnecessary complaint. I didn't like it at first, but the more I think about it, it's like, quit just picking things to not like them because you're the rest of the universe.
I wish Luke would use his Force powers to push her into the ship.
Do you guys want to say things that we like? We're not being negative. We're just telling people why they're stupid.
Yeah,
Like the movie.
The movie
is great.
Well,
And segue
so
here.
great.
Segue here.
I've never seen a movie 4 times in theaters. I've never wanted to see a movie 4 times in theaters.
How many
Seen
tickets
this
did
movie
you
4
buy?
times. I bought 1 ticket. 3 of them I did not. I will keep that a secret.
I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that.
Okay.
Because where I work, and assume it was at a different movie theater.
Where do you work?
No. All right. Next.
I
Do you guys want to? This really moves us in.
I feel like everybody has expressed their opinion
Yeah.
for why it's good. I don't feel like anybody watching this is gonna be like, "Oh, that's a good point about
I
that."
think
Like,
this is unique. Our perspective is unique because I don't think anyone's made a video directly telling everyone why they're wrong, per se.
I'm sure there's.
I'm sure there are,
Yeah.
but I mean, a 30-minute one.
We sure haven't seen any.
I haven't cared
Yeah.
enough.
So that's all the movies then.
But I think, if you have a valid argument, please make it, because there's someone I used to work with. I saw him at the mall the other day, and I talked to him. He said he didn't like it, and the reasons he gave me made sense. He was the first person I've seen that said
What
that.
did he say?
I can't remember.
Oh.
It seemed so
It
insignificant.
made sense at the time.
It made sense. It just wasn't important. I'm like, okay, if that ruined the movie for you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what it was. It was really dumb.